Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Universal Lens. I'm going to try to say it in Spanish.
El lente universal.
I'm John Emilio along with Henry Beltra and Anthony Lisi. Sorry, we're a little giddy. We were playing with sound effects and it was funny.
Yeah, we always have a good pre-show too.
Yeah, we have a good pre-show.
Should have just recorded it.
Yeah.
Everybody else would have laughed along.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the pre-show leads into the show.
It does. So,
And
what?
in the pre-show,
Yes.
my good friend Anthony here, when he said,
It's not what you called him yesterday, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
he said,
Talking about conspiracy theories.
we were talking about conspiracy theories. And when you mentioned that sometimes it's good to let your mind off the leash.
He said, Anthony said, he goes, you have to be careful if your mind gets off the leash.
Yeah, because conspiracy theories will take you down a path that may or may not be true. And depending on how much you let your mind run with it, you could find millions of avenues. Because once, like we were saying, you let your mind off the leash, it could just go running in any direction.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, even though it's you mentioned it, how do I say, philosophically, let your mind off the leash.
I loved it.
But it would also mean that in order for you to let your mind off the leash, it was on a leash.
I guess we all
Didn't see
kinda
that
do,
one.
right?
No, yeah. No,
I know what you mean.
It makes
I know
sense.
what you
It was
What
on-
is that leash? The leash, in my opinion,
Yeah.
would have been an ability such as mindfulness. I hate to call it a leash, but it's something that helps
So
you.
you're saying the mindfulness.
Maintain a reality.
You're saying the mindfulness acts as a leash,
Yes, and it's a bad metaphor.
but it makes
I
the
know what
point.
you mean.
But
Bad
it makes
metaphor
the point.
because I don't want to ever.
because that gives a sense of control.
Right. No, but all it does is basically give you that ability, and this all came about because we are living in a situation where there are inexplicable drones all over the skies of New Jersey, and some people might be seeing airplanes, some people might be seeing helicopters, and there are certainly a lot of people seeing drones, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I saw them in my house, so I know they
Outside
exist.
your bathroom window or just above it?
No, literally.
That might have been me though. Teasing.
I felt like Ray Liotta.
Yeah, when you keep on looking up, yeah.
That was a funny meme, by the way. Everybody took off
Yeah,
that.
it's
But go
a
ahead. You were
fantastic
saying?
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
so I hearken back. This is your favorite part when I use the word I hearken
I
back.
have to get that sound.
So I hearken back to the Chinese spy balloon when I said, "Bro, it took me for a ride."
That was funny, that episode.
But do you remember how that started?
That
all
episode-
started with
that
it's
episode was
nothing.
funny.
It's probably a weather balloon. Until
All
Yeah.
I needed to do was rationally think, if it's a freaking Chinese spy balloon, it's already been up. So, like, I was
You
already
went-
worried.
Yeah, you were moving your family to like Oklahoma.
Well, it was closer to spy
Oh,
balloon.
whatever. you were packing up. You were running for the hills.
But
I remember.
it was
Yeah.
something that, admittedly, I thought about it and I kept on it so much so that there has to be a reason why nobody's telling us what this is.
yeah, I can't think of it though.
So I applied to the drone situation, and this drone situation would definitely,
It goes along the same path, like as far as like where it takes your mind.
yeah.
Yeah, it's 6 and 1/2 dozen.
Let me
the
ask
other.
you this though.
Does the same
Referring
exact
to the
thing.
leash thing before.
Yeah.
Having your mind on a leash, or having your, like, say, a dog on a leash, is it because you don't want him to run away, or is it because you love him so much you're protecting him?
So that's why.
Because
and
that's what I'm saying.
you're going
It could
with
be a
this.
good thing.
So that's why that
Analogy works a little
analogy
bit. Yeah.
works.
Yep. Mhm.
But yeah, you could also make a case against it. So, but we're gonna use it as when he uses the word leash, he's saying
I was trying to explain how it could be a.
it could be
Even though the analogy isn't.
well the whole thing is, and then you could also say if you teach your dog how to be off the leash, your dog could run around on its own and always find its way home.
That's a whole other
So hold on,
topic.
but you could do the same thing with your mind.
Mhm.
If you learn how to have your mind off the leash, right, where it goes, hey, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's like whack-a-mole.
But that could be exhausting, man.
It can be, but if you allow that to, because you need to allow that to happen in order for you to realize it's happening, which builds the awareness, builds the ability for you to see it, which builds the ability for you to not chase it anymore and watch those stories flow. Like everybody else, like even though yes, I've been paying attention to everything that's been going on. I'm not going down rabbit holes and flying, but my mind, sure, what my mind has had every scenario pop up, pop up, pop up. Okay, that's great. That's what my mind does. So I allow my mind to be off a leash and go, but I'm not chasing it.
Can I add something very important?
But the leash also works because the leash is mindfulness, which works as, so it works both ways.
Well,
However you want to interpret it.
The only way you can trust your thinking mind to run without a leash is because your watcher is so well trained.
Your watcher
is
alert
in charge
and conscious.
Explain the watcher.
Without that,
it's the other person.
Your thinking mind will take the leash, throw it in the river, and run to the woods. There is no doubt about it.
So so 2, 1. You said explain the watcher. I said it's the person behind you. I was joking.
I know. I hope so, for crying out loud. Yeah.
Sit down.
Easy.
Sit down. Don't worry about it.
Don't turn around.
See these doors?
Yeah.
That's where I keep them.
That's where he is.
So when we say watcher, it's your awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that level of you, that conscious, aware level of you that sees you have a thought, right? Like you could have a thought and you're aware you had that thought, and then you go, I don't like that thought. That's your watch. That's that ability to see it. They call it the watcher, consciousness, awareness. I mean,
so when we say like you feel that you see that emotion coming, or is
that's your watcher noticing? It's the noticing.
Right.
Yeah, it's the noticing.
Gotcha.
That's the watcher.
So I like that one. Otherwise, the thinking mind is going to do what it does.
Yeah, sure.
It respects no leash.
No, and no boundaries. Nope. Expects no boundaries.
So that's the fine line, because like you were going where teach your mind to be off a leash. Teach your mind so that it's not. So you don't have to leash it. Doesn't exist. Not with the human's thinking mind doesn't exist.
You're saying to teach it to obey and not run away.
It will run away. It knows more than you.
Yes. No. And by the way, it's very counterproductive to try to. The more you try to control your thoughts, the more your thoughts get out of control.
100%.
It's super counter. That's why let them run. Just stop chasing. So like
don't think about a zebra.
So we're not going to get into what the theories. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Though it's,
we're not going to talk about what the theories are behind whatever's happening now. It's watch it happen, understand that it's happening, but when is it no longer beneficial for you to engage that thought? When is that thought now served its purpose,
That's
and now all it's doing is keeping you in a loop on a hamster wheel or lost in the woods?
My question is, like you say, sit with what you're thinking about. Sit with it for a little while, or whatever that's giving you that anxiety. Sit with it.
Sure.
It's confrontational, which happens to be a thing I like. So it's you put it right in your face kind of thing, which is, right in your face. And, how do you stop that from going down a rabbit hole?
How do you stop?
How do you stop yourself from, let me put it a better way. How do you take that thought and cast it aside when you want to? By an action, by going off and doing something else?
You don't cast it aside.
Well, what if that brings such anxiety thinking about it? Okay. So at what point do you go, I've had enough of this?
The point you say, I've had enough of it.
Yeah.
But it's got to be said. So like Henry said before, your mind is smarter than you are. We've said this on the show 1,000 times. Your mind is smarter than you are. At what point, when you say I've had enough and I'm done, but if you're saying it like to your mind, I've had enough, I'm done. Like pay attention and obey now. This is it. I'm finished with this. Not going to work. Counterproductive. Your mind's just going to react to that more. It's got to be, you know what? I've had enough. I don't care if you want to be anxious. I don't care if you want to be nervous. I don't care if you want to be scared. That's not beneficial for me. I choose to be here where I am. Does not change how you feel. Like if you're expecting that emotion to go away or that feeling to go away right there and then, not going to happen. But you start to live the valued life and you start to make decisions based on not your fears of outside, but okay, what's important in my life right now? Like what was I supposed to do today that was actually of importance to me instead of spending 8 hours on the Facebook or the Insta chat or your mama's ass, whatever it is, to, oh my God, things are all over the place and the world's ending. Now, are there things that are beneficial to your life? Whether it was taking care of a child, working on a project you're doing, something important for work that's important, or a charity, whatever it might be, that's something that you value and care about and that's important for your life. Put your energy there. It doesn't mean that anxiety goes away, but the more you do that, I actually had a conversation with somebody about this who's going through something.
Anxiety becomes less of a force.
It becomes less of a force because you stop feeding that wolf, right? Like we said, you stop feeding it. By stopping the feeding of that anxiety, even though you might feel it for a while, not a symptom, a byproduct of that is eventually that anxiety becomes less and less, but not because you want it to be less and less. It happens.
It's because it's been sitting with you so long.
But here's the key part, and this is where people get stuck. And instant gratification is something that we've been wired into our minds when we were children. You have to go through. I hate using the word a growing pain, but there's a certain level of growing discomfort that you need to sit with. That shitty feeling, you have to. Did I tell you about it? Where you get treated like a piece of paper, say, okay, anxiety, I'm going to put you on my lap. I'm not going to throw you away. And I'm going to leave you on my lap. And I'm going to, not here in front of me like this, not, oh my God, anxiety. Okay, you want to be here? You could be here, but I'm going to focus on what I have to do. Eventually, you forget that it's on your lap because your mind refocuses on where you're pointing your attention to. So that's how you kind of get past that. Not because we say, mind, obey. Your mind goes, and just like has no problem telling you.
You know what's funny about anxiety?
What?
Is that
not many things, but yes.
Meaning not funny, haha, but funny,
once
coincidence.
Once you're a little long enough, you can laugh at it eventually.
That anxiety is about, that nervousness about what's about to come. But when it comes, I have no fear. But I have anxiety about thinking about it prior.
You have anxiety about the anxiety.
You're talking about you personally?
Yeah, I'm throwing myself in the ring, but I'm just saying because I'm sure there's others like that where you'll have anxiety about things in the future,
sure,
but fear nothing right now. You know what I mean? Is that odd? Because I find that odd.
That's
but I'm sure there's other people.
So
like
hold
that.
on, I know what you're saying. So anxiety about things in the future, but fear nothing
in the
right
present
now.
I'll give you an example.
See, but isn't that odd?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah, that's a very paradoxical statement because
it is.
I have to speak publicly.
Exactly. Or if somebody goes, I need you to go up there.
But when you do it,
it's making me nervous.
I need you to go up right now and go say a few words. You didn't see it coming. You never thought about it. There's no way Henry's going to have to make a speech. Henry, I need you to say something for 5 minutes. Can you just go up there and talk a little bit? And you'd be like, all right, let's just do it.
But that's the ESU and you talking.
Maybe. But I think you would be cool with that too. I think there's others like that.
I've had that same thought pattern in my head where I'm like, I would rather somebody put me on the spot.
Spring it on. Yes.
Than tell me a week ahead of time.
That's my point.
Because the anxious mind is going to start going, what if? And
exactly.
Listen, it's fine.
There's no time for what ifs. It's in your face.
I could work and be like, okay, thank you, what if? But it's still going to kind of be there in the background, even if I don't pay attention to it really. But if you're thrust into the situation,
you just go.
It's you're now in the moment. So what he said something key. He says anxiety for what is in the future, but I don't fear it in the moment. You don't fear it in the moment because fear can only happen
when you're confronted with it.
In anticipation of. In that moment, you're not in fear. You're actually experiencing whatever is happening right now.
Gotcha.
So fear is an anticipation of what might happen.
Because it can't be anxiety if I go, hey, I need you to do something right now. There's no time for anxiety. You either have fear of doing it or you don't.
Yeah, it's like
anxiety is the pre-fear.
Yeah.
Did we say that? The prelude to fear?
Anxiety and fear are they're
kind of close.
They're very close. I mean, the words are interchangeable.
Brother and sister, so to say.
Yeah, but fear, you can only have fear and anticipation of what's happening. Once you're in the moment, you're going to react or respond to it however you're well equipped to. Let's just say, right? Because then what you've experienced, your tools, whatever you're good at, whatever you've honed your skills at, is how you're going to respond to that to the best.
My point was, it's funny how they're both in the family of, let's just say, fear. The same family,
the same thing.
But one is only, you know what I mean? Or there's no anxiety if I tell you I need you to do something right now. But if I told you yesterday, you let your mind can just let it.
You had
run.
no time.
No time. You gave your mind no time to think about the what ifs
and back out.
What are you going to do right now? There's no time to back out. There's none of those things exist. So it's the anxieties, the motherfucker. That's the one.
But
the anxiety.
But even in that moment, you might feel the flutters, the stomach, butterflies in stomach, sweaty palms, racing heart because you're thrusting.
Yes,
that
maybe.
still might happen, but that you could.
You don't have time for the what ifs to
allow
let your
it to
mind.
be there.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's not enough time to let your mind go.
Create
Look,
narratives.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
Yeah.
go. So there's
That's
no
true.
leash. There's no nothing. It's just, I need you to perform right now. Can you do it? It's either yes or no.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're not thinking about what if I trip on the stage? If you started thinking about it yesterday, I bet you that would come up about all the little things that could go wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how
And that's
people,
why I find the irony.
That's how people mind fuck themselves when they have to do
Sure.
things like that because they get so
you talk
caught
yourself
up.
into things.
Yeah, they talk themselves or out of. Yeah, it's very.
I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't.
It's
Guess
very
what?
easy to do.
Your mind's gonna tell you can't do it.
It's very easy to do. That's why I try to put very little time into planning things.
So think
the more
about
I
it.
try to plan something, like if I have to do something,
He's right.
the
That's
more
a
I
good
try
point.
to plan something,
That's a good point.
the more I my mind naturally, because the way my mind is wired, my
Yeah.
mind's going to want to overthink
Me too.
something. So I years ago I didn't notice it, and I would, oh my god, like I would burn the candle at four ends, at two ends.
Now,
Just
I
would,
know people in
Yeah.
my life, and I'm envious. Oh my God, envious of them. They just fucking go through life winging it. There's no anxiety. There's no fear. There's like, what do you want to do today? You want to go to Hershey? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's go. Throw some stuff in the car. We'll go. There's no anxiety. There's no.
well, so
it's
that's
a decision.
those are personality traits.
Yes, but what I'm saying is
But you
I'm
could
jealous
adopt that.
of people who can do that.
Okay, don't be jealous of them. You could easily be that if you want to.
My life is just not designed like that.
Sure, it is.
Listen, I guess you're right.
Can you?
You can absolutely. I can.
Anthony,
Absolutely. I have anxiety thinking about that right now. It's like,
So
you
that's
want to
the-
go on a trip? What?
so that's the planner, so that's the part of your mind. And this is the way I look at it, right? To clarify that for you, that is a strength. Don't let it become. So it's a tool. Don't let it become how you live your life.
I'm sorry. Go back.
That organizational part.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
Yes, I know what you mean. Okay.
So when we go,
That's where you come in.
So
yeah.
like when we go away, I'm the same way. Like I like to pack my bag a certain way. I like to put my stuff. I like to have what I need for when I need it for when
it's
I
like
go
when
away.
you call me, you want to go to PA? Like he'll text me the night before. Like it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, fuck, he wants to go at like 7:30 in the morning. But you know what? I got nothing to do tomorrow. I'm going, right? If he texted me 2 days prior to that, I'd probably have been like, I got to do something the next day. I'm probably going to be tired. And that's where all that stuff comes in. You talk yourself out of it. But when he texts me with little time, it's like, bingo, decision made.
Now I know.
Over.
Now I know.
For everything, it's got to be last minute.
But so learn how to use that part of your mind. This is what I've tried to do, especially in the last 7-8 years. I learned how to use that as a strength. So for a while, I completely didn't even want to entertain that part of my mind, like the super organizational part of me, the part that knows how to plan and prepare and forecast, like that helped me in my life so well.
Yeah.
But yet, as it was taking one step forward, it was digging the hole 4 feet deeper.
Would you consider?
I didn't
would
realize
you consider saying that you let your mind off the leash? Like
my mind,
where your organizational skills were great, but then it just started going too far.
My mind was a beagle chasing a rabbit in the dark forest. No fucking idea where it was going. But now what I've learned how to do, through time and through practice, I've re-embraced that part of me, but not to say,
let
this
it go
is what I'm gonna be.
overboard.
No. Now I've re-embraced it. I'm going to apply it when it's needed, and when it's not, I'm going to put it the fuck down. Even though it still wants to go, wait, I want more cookies. No.
That's a talent in itself to be able to do that with your mind.
So I joined the board of I swore for years I would never join the board of my association.
When did you do this?
Okay, recently, because I've helped.
I know
them.
you've always told me.
I told
you want me to join? I'm not joining.
Because I know the way my mind would want to engage, grab, and be like, let's go, organize.
Why isn't this on a spreadsheet?
Exactly. So, but again, beneficial skills. If I allow them to be beneficial skills, I don't know if I told you that we got Republic.
Yeah,
we're in
you
a contract
did.
with them.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
a third of what we would normally pay for our
That's
garbage
amazing.
with everybody, right? And everybody voted. It's great. I saw that and I said, and I really helped. I took a big part of that because I have a set of skills because
I have a special set of skills.
I have this set of skills, and I said, why not use them when they could be beneficial to me in my life? So then I told my wife, I think I'm going to join the board. She said the same thing. She goes, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I go, because
you've been telling both of us.
I said because I realized, why should I allow that skill not to benefit myself or other people around me. I go, I don't embrace it as my personality, who I am. I use it as a tool in my tool belt now.
Well,
I
it's a
know I
good
can
time
pull
to
that hammer out and I can go pop, 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 pop,
But it's
pop.
a good time to practice now to use that skill and only use it up to a certain amount.
I've caught
It's good
myself doing
practice.
that. I've been like this, typing, and this, we're going to do
And you're
this.
like-
And I'm like, whoa, time out. I literally walked, I shut my computer and walked away because I noticed myself already hitting, after this is done, we'll do this, and we'll
It's
do
all-
this, and we'll do this. Because that's how
good.
that's how my mind wants to work. Beneficial if it's not on a leash, or if it's on a leash.
If it's off a leash.
If it's off a
Off
leash.
a leash.
So if it going to his analogy, if it's off the leash, that's what my mind will do. But I realized, why not use that skill? So the same way you're like that,
Yeah.
don't say you can't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and go to Hershey. You would feel uber uncomfortable if you had to do it.
Yeah.
But that's what, hold on, but that's where the growth happens. When you feel uncomfortable is when you're actually growing as a person.
I should do that someday.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, wake up that morning. Nobody's
Don't
got
pack
nothing
a
to do.
bag and don't pack
That's
a bag.
right. Yeah. You know what? That'd be a good test. And just go, oh, no, just great. I'm giving you an hour. We're going to be in the car and we're going to fucking Hershey.
Yeah,
Whatever.
or whatever.
I should do that. That'd be a good test for me because, I would be very uncomfortable. But where are we? You could get anything you want.
Don't justify it. That's your mind. See, your mind's trying to justify. We could do this. Yeah, we could do. Tell your mind, fuck you. I'm going to use you when I need you. We're going to go in an hour, pack the bags. Let's go. And then sit there, not like this, but sit there and just.
So that's
as I'm driving, I'd be like, Jesus, I don't have my toothbrush.
Is that one of your? So that's
John.
So you have
John,
these
Stop at CVS.
you have those anxieties about just.
I'm a planner, but let me say this: it's built in the way I worked. But you get caught off guard a few times without having what you need, and you say to yourself, "That'll never happen again." To me, it looks bad.
Great tool to have,
right? But I took it to the point, and I tried to teach my guys. There's no time, like in 9/11. There's no time to go back for your stuff. You either have what you have, and it should be what you need, or you don't. Don't be lazy. Plan to load
put
up
the time in and get yourself prepared.
Exactly. And that was my big, because from experience, there's no going back for your stuff.
Yeah.
Especially if you buy the virus out, you're going right over, you know?
So was it, if you were a contractor, measure twice, cut once?
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
Why not take the time to measure twice?
But understand that mentality and that tool should not, it's not, I shouldn't say should, it's not beneficial to have it be the way you live your life.
Right.
It should be used as a tool in circumstances where it's required or beneficial in that moment.
You're right.
Or else, was I talking to you before? Or was it, I forgot who I was talking to. And I said, we were at Home Depot before. And we're talking. And I said, I don't think too far in the future anymore, because when I do, in other words, if I try to plan, it ties right into what I was saying. I notice I start to get
the ruminations.
Yeah, I start to go down rabbit holes then. So, which can be, okay, it does slow things up in your life a little bit, maybe. You don't get the things all you want done all the time, but that's okay. It's not about like that checklist is what fucking burnt me out.
I'm so worried about falling behind. It's one of those things
even
in
if
my
you
head
do,
where it's like you feel like
even if you
I'll
do,
never catch back up. Like, let's say you got projects to do, right?
Yeah, sure.
And you're like, I'll do that one tomorrow. And then tomorrow, something else pops up. And you go, oh shit, now I got two things to do. Let me start on the first one. On the third day, something else. It's a never-ending.
On the fourth day, you're dead. None of it matters.
It's a never-ending cycle.
On the fourth day, you're dead. None of it fucking
when is
matters.
that media coming? Because I hope it hits me right in the fucking head.
So don't take it serious, man.
Yeah.
But use it as a tool.
You know what could be
use
happening
it as a tool.
to Anthony is the same thing that happened, and I'm sure it happened to me, but I saw it with you, where your super skill of being organized became your identity.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I had people that wanted to hire me, and they were like, we need somebody like you who's organized and straighten things out. It became like a fucking selling point. I'm like, yeah, I'm organized, but I don't want to organize your life. But it's my life. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, he was so good at it that I used to watch him and like, oh my God, his business is freaking organized. This team is freaking organized.
When you had a business and he had a business?
No, his. That's
what I mean. And were you comparing it to your business?
Right.
Skills?
I mean, well, I had, mine was a little different. The way it was structured.
Gotcha.
But his, I watched it, and I remember you fed everything through Dropbox.
Yeah.
And you had folders upon folders. And I was like,
my head hurts.
I was like, wow. And I was just so impressed.
And I ran the baseball team the same fucking way.
Team. And everything. So if there was a fundraiser, boom, he did it. If Cooperstown,
The women helped me with that because that
We're
would
doing a
put me 6
golf
feet under.
outing for Special Strides.
I
aren't
was
we?
talking to Lori today about it. Yeah, but again,
So-
I'm using the skills
so,
as needed.
well, there it is. So
Yeah.
he obviously recognizes that he has a skill, but now that skill is not him.
Yeah.
He just has
It's a
this
tool.
skill.
It's
It's
a
a tool. It's another tool.
It's like another tool.
Right. So
No,
you
that's
know,
good. That's good.
And I think that's where the bond happens. And then when that bond happens, go ahead and explain to your mind.
You know what's funny is if you
Once
look
they-
at
what do
John,
you say?
look at
What-
John's
what do you
life
say?
now.
Once they,
the fuse.
He
Fusion.
freaking hates that business. He just maybe it just took him to a point where he was so organized and so.
I don't hate the construction world.
I said
hate
the business.
my job. Yeah, what I was doing, I
The
didn't
business
enjoy
world
it
of it,
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Well, it
didn't
takes the
enjoy
fun out of building stuff and making things. Is all the
Well,
crap
it
behind
was,
the scenes.
it was the
Politics of it.
not even the politics, because that even could be managed. It was the stresses I was putting on myself to have things the need
Perfect.
to have things to be a certain way constantly.
Yeah.
Which amplified to the point where the wire went zzz, and that was it. And then my anxiety exploded, my OCD exploded, and my mind just went on. It was like a clown of cars on cocaine, and that was it. That's what it became. It was nightmare clowns. Yeah,
See,
and they
I'm
were
walking-
and they were the scary clowns.
I
Not the
feel like
funny ones.
I feel like
On cocaine in my head, and that's where it took me. That constant attachment to this super skill of mine or whatever I thought burnt me the fuck out. It burnt me out because I kept it. I never understood that I could put it on a leash, or I could, that I could allow it to work without needing it to be who I am. Most people you run into during the day, what they say is what they believe they are. Like that's their identity. You talk to somebody at the gym and they talk, not everybody, most of those people you talk to, like you could tell who they think they are by the way they're speaking. That's why I was saying, I don't speak to many people in open spaces unless somebody wants to approach me to have a one-on-one conversation.
the gym is difficult only because everybody's walking around with their headphones on, like in their own world. Kind
Yeah,
of. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
doing your
so
own
really, you almost got to find something like you
People
both equally, like, hey, excuse me, can I use that? And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
hey, how
you
you
strike up
doing?
a
You know, you see them the
conversation.
next day, like, good morning, like those two guys we see,
Yeah, I say
Like
good morning
nice-
to them all the time.
nice young guys, and they're always there working out together, kind of like me and John do.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
it could come off, unfortunately, a little, but it's not being, it's just being, I'm just being right now because there's no
I try
need-
to attach my fractured smile to everything. When I say a lot of people,
Fractured smile.
because it's like, is he smiling
yeah.
or does he have gas? I'm not sure.
Who, me?
No, me.
Oh.
I'm making fun of myself.
Rusty bitch face?
Yes, I have. I
No, you don't. You do
100%.
not. You
Oh
don't.
my
You
God.
think you do. You don't.
If RBN,
I'm good. Well, then it's wearing off then.
Yeah, it's
Positive
fair enough.
thing.
Yeah, rusty bitch face. Yeah. But yeah, that. So whether it's the drones of New Jersey, it could be a show instead of the wives of New Jersey.
Oh, somebody's working on that shit right now.
The drones
probably.
of New Jersey. Whether it's the drones of New Jersey or it's the spy balloons of Wyoming.
We
or
gotta bring my drone to like Henry's house
whatever
and put
it
like your
is.
face on the front of it and just zoom it up to his window. Really make him freak out.
Hello. It doesn't. If you're not checking your mind, meaning if you're not practicing that awareness, if you're not practicing paying attention to what's happening, you're going to go down like rabbit holes or conspiracy theories. And then by the way, while you're saying it, your mind is like, wait, I got a better one. Not only did they, but they're also, and not only did they, but they're creating a new world order. And not only that, but the Martians are involved.
You could
And not
go,
only
yeah.
that, I guarantee you, Jesus has got a plan. Like your mind will create a story. That's a
Did
fictional.
Jesus send the aliens? I mean, he's Jesus. He's in control of everything.
It becomes a movie. It
Yeah.
becomes a full-fledged movie in your head. And it's like, and like Anthony said, in that moment, something horrific was going to happen. The fear goes away, and now you're just absolutely present.
Yep.
And that's it. The anticipation. So pay attention. That anticipation
Yeah,
for
the
what
anticipation.
might never, but might happen is going to steal your everyday life from you.
True.
Now, do you expect to feel calm 24/7, 365? I know I would love to. I don't. Personally, I can tell you. This morning for some
Bro, I was
reason,
thinking about the bathroom problem all night.
this morning I woke up and I was
Tiles.
like, yeah. I was like,
Yeah, I couldn't even finish that. It's about tiles. Yeah.
This morning, for no reason at all, I was like, Or was it yesterday? I think maybe yesterday. I was like, I just noticed it. I'm like, I feel anxious. No idea why. Did not know why. But you know what I did not do? Why do I feel anxious? Why am I anxious? What's the matter? What's going on? I feel anxious. Where am I going? Going to the gym.
My wife asks me what's wrong like every 30 minutes.
So can I give you a piece of advice?
Please.
Tell your wife, stop doing that.
Yeah,
I love you,
well,
Steph. Steph, I love you
First
to
of
death.
all,
I told
we
my
know
mother
that
to
I
stop
like it
doing
to
it.
stop. But no, sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes, like if something's really wrong, but most of the time,
Yeah, no,
I'm walking
no.
around, I got something to do, and she's like, "What's wrong?"
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong. You know, I'm
Checking.
busy. I'm
That's my
doing
mom.
something.
My
you know?
mom's the same way.
Yeah.
I told you when I went through the shit with my wife, the first thing I told her, my first date, it was my first week of therapy. I came home, I looked her in the face and go, and she was good with this. Like, I always say that like the universe paired me with her for a specific reason.
We say the same thing too.
Yeah. Nobody else was.
She's an angel.
And it was, I said, do not ask me constantly. I go, just tell me one thing. Look at me. If you see I'm like, just say, hey, you're doing great. And walk the fuck away. And she did that. And it helped. So, yeah, I mean, they mean well. But they do it because they love
I
me.
get it. I totally get it. But you know what? Every 30 minutes makes you think of, is something wrong?
That's right.
Maybe something is bothering me. And then boom. And then you're like, now, guess what? She's like, am I bothering you?
Yeah.
Do you want to bother me? Because you are now. It's like, you weren't bothering me 20 minutes ago, but you asked me 3 times. Now you bother me. Congratulations, you've won the prize.
It's such a fine line, right?
It really is. Between concern and annoyance.
Yeah.
It's a tightrope, and I get it. Especially with somebody as complicated as I am or John is.
No,
it is a tightrope.
The other person loves you.
I had
like
to throw you in there, bro. You're complicated.
Under the
Stop
bus.
it.
And the other person loves you. She lives with you. She cares about you. So,
I get it. I totally understand.
If she listens, be careful what you
I
say.
know. Say nothing.
What? I didn't say nothing.
You're gonna shank me in my sleep tonight.
No.
Yeah.
And that.
But you're right. It is a
I
fine
get it.
line between being concerned and over concern is a little,
Well, especially if the person who they're asking is still in a state where they're in flux with everything that's
maybe they
happening
don't
in
know
their
what's
lives.
wrong.
Yeah, so when somebody asks you that question, I know it kind of got off topic, but it's a good one because when somebody asks you that question, it does, and he made a great point. Is there something wrong?
Yeah, you feed the wrong wolf.
You feed the wrong, but you don't even realize it, and you're just like, well, you're raising a question. Now maybe I should answer it, and you're like, well, you know what?
And
my toenail is killing me from yesterday. It'll be something that's wrong, or something is
You'll
wrong.
You'll find it. Actually, you won't find it. Your thinking mind will find it.
There you go. And it's probably not an issue, but you're searching for it.
Unfortunately, that
went well. That was a good topic. I like
yeah.
Are you done?
No, I felt like I was contributing a little bit.
You did? No, that was a great. That was a great.
I don't want you two minds going at it, and I'm sitting here with a lollipop, like oh, that's interesting.
But you notice, I have to. But
I noticed you didn't say a word for a while.
I noticed that too.
I
was like, what?
That is the beauty of the chemistry. Like you have to know when it's going
it's
right.
Flowing.
Yeah, because
gotcha.
Imagine I'm like, it's a 2-wheel bike, and I go, hey,
let me
throw this giant wheel on the front.
No, you got that's the beauty.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's a skill I learned doing this. Because until you do something like this, you don't really know that there's a skill and an art to a conversation. And
that is
very true. Very true.
And I wish I knew that.
Oh my God!
You're very.
I'm still working on it every single day of my life.
I'm a very bad conversationalist.
Me too.
You always. I would told you always have had a skill with that, like the way you speak to somebody. I could speak to somebody if they're talking to me one-on-one and like they're looking for guidance but like a general conversation. This is where I could come off awkward now at times because I don't have anything to say to people for the most part.
See, I enjoy,
which is great that you can.
There's so many assholes in the world that I honestly enjoy talking to nice people. If someone is nice, you've got my attention.
That's different.
That's just me because I find, I guess through my life, I've talked to so many not nice people that when you find that one people who are
an enjoyable
nice,
conversation.
You could talk about anything and it's just smiles, laughs.
And I agree there. No,
that's where I get that from my grandfather.
I think chemistry is important too, and I don't mean just conversational chemistry. I mean like body chemistry. It's like I do open houses every weekend. I'm a realtor. I do open house every weekend.
Henry Belcher at Weichert.
Henry Belcher at Weichert, 100% for everything.
There's cards on the table here.
Shameless plug.
We should. And strangers walk in through the door, and you immediately have a chemical reaction.
Almost, you could feel it. Yep.
So sometimes it's repelling, and when it's repelling, I get it. So I'm not going to push if I feel that I'm being repelled. I don't push. I let you float.
Do you enjoy the surprise ones where, yes, you feel like this guy can be confrontational, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Excuse me," and then you're like,
totally enjoy.
How could I help you? I think I get that a lot because I do have, the beard, the resting bitch face, and like, maybe this guy. And then when you say, I like to surprise people with how friendly I can be. It happened on the street once. We were doing a Hercules team, and there was 5 of us all vested up, loaded. They sent us up to the west side this night. Very,
it's where I used to work. Yeah,
yes, very high end. And sure as shit, somebody walks by and has to make a comment to us. We're there to protect everyone. We're just standing outside of the vehicle. Like, do we really need this? This is horrible and stuff. And I just started a conversation with her. Just started talking, and we talked for 10 minutes about everything about life. And she was, and you're really intelligent. I'm sorry, I misjudged you. And I was like, no problem. It was a great conversation. And I wanted to leave her with such a good, I was overdoing it a little much, just to extra zing because she thought I was an asshole. And I really wanted to show her I wasn't, But
that's a beautiful,
I like that. I like doing it to people and like receiving it.
Yeah.
Like you think somebody's a jerk and you're like, holy cow, this is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Well,
I like that.
That's an unaware person is going to make that judgment without speaking to the person. Or at least they might have that.
Like you were saying about the chemistry, like you kind of get it, like a little bit, like maybe.
But sometimes even that chemistry, until you actually speak to the person, the vibe, you have to be. I think you have to really be in tune with your energy levels or your energy input output to be near somebody and be able to pick up their vibe right away, like their real vibe, not.
Yeah, exactly.
Like okay, if I keep looking at you, my mind's going to create a story, not the story, but what am I sensing from you? So if that's what you're trying to say, like you're
like, right. You misjudge people because you do that.
You do.
You're misjudging people because you're like,
I see somebody. Your mind to create a story right away. Oh, that lady, Lisa, single, divorced twice, probably has 4 kids, heavy smoker. Like I don't know who the lady is. No idea. But if I look at somebody, my mind's going to create a narrative based on the information that it has and what it's learned in its life. Like, look at this guy. Tattoos.
Yeah. I mean,
military, cop, something. Fucking jerk off.
Cop, something jerk off. I love how it just flowed right into jerk.
He looks like the guy from Sniper.
He looks like he killed 100 people.
If you look like Bradley Cooper, that's
no, that's not bad. I'll take that. No shit, I'll take that.
But, I mean, you look at me. I'll get fucking guy, big nose. Who the fuck is he think he is?
Big nose, broad shoulders, burly arms.
Yeah, burly arms.
All these friendly sayings on his shirt.
Yeah. Guy's probably fucking like
I was in a class once.
Dumbass spiritual teacher.
I was in a class once, like about 30 of us. I was a sergeant and everything. And the instructor was a cop, but he was a military guy, heavy fucking duty military guy. He was in special forces everywhere. And he was talking tactics and everything. And I kept on looking at my phone. Afterwards, he goes, Sergeant, can I talk to you a second? I go, sure. I go into the office. He goes, bro, that was like the rudest thing ever, man. You keep on looking at your phone and everything. I know you've done this stuff before, but I mean, I go, hold on one second. First of all, let me apologize. I go, second of all, my daughter's really sick at home. My wife was sending me updates and everything. I apologize. I kept on looking at it. I should have gotten up and walked out. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you're doing like we both misinterpreted the entire situation.
That's why you ask.
Because now, hey, my daughter's really sick at home. What are you going to say to that? Like, of course, answer your text. But really, what you should have done, please, just so you don't disturb the whole room, just step out. It's not a big deal.
No, but even when he approached you after, he said, "Can I ask you a question?"
Yeah. Oh, he's like that too. He's another guy who looks. He's a gigantic man, tattoos everywhere, bald head. You're like, this guy can kill 100 people. Look, just staring at them. And when you talk to him, he's got a master's degree in English, and you're like, and he's the smoothest guy you've ever met. And you're like, holy shit,
like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you laughing?
The master's degree in English.
Yeah,
English is like your third language. See.
Brooklyn's my first.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole language in itself.
So yeah, I mean, it'll do all those things.
Let me wrap that up.
All those things.
If you let your mind run with what you think with an opinion of a look, or you just let it go. It could go off anywhere.
Sure.
Henry looks like this. Look at him with his zip. Why is he zipping all the way up? What kind of shirt you got? It could be anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you don't necessarily want to go that route. It's probably better off to just say, hey, how you doing? And then you'd smile and be like, hey, how are you?
That's the aware person.
Yeah.
So the aware, mindful person is going to look and hear that, because I don't want to hear anything. We're all going to have a judgment that's going to pop up because our mind does that. Like you said before, like it doesn't stop.
No.
Off leash, on leash, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. The point is having the awareness to see it and then pivot, or I like to use the word shift, and then approach the person as if that narrative isn't there and go, let me build my bias now. Let me build my factual information now. Let me speak to you. Let me get a feeling from you, not a prejudgment or not drones in the sky. Let me do research on my own. Let me see what's going on. And the research isn't on Facebook. I know you're all shocked by that statement.
The prejudging is
on
a killer.
Facebook. Yeah.
The prejudgment is where it goes wrong.
Yeah. It's
agreed.
Do research yourself. You want to look into something? Do some research, maybe to look for not for an answer, but to look for valid information on something. But don't follow the nonsense in your mind that's going to take you down a rabbit hole, that's going to put you into an anxious frenzy, that now you're going to not enjoy the night with your family, wherever you are. You're not going to pay attention to what you should be doing, what's important, what you value, where your attention and energy is actually needed for the benefit of you or your family and the people around you. You get to make that choice. What choice do you want to make? And that choice isn't easy, but always prefer it. Sometimes sucks. It's hard. It's difficult. At the same time, it's a lot easier than it sounds. And I'll leave it on that.
You're right.
Tune in next week for more.
Yeah, sharpen up your mindfulness, because
it's an amazing tool. It really is. It just works very well.
If you have your watcher well trained, you can take the leash off.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun when you take the leash off.
So I think
we did that.
You could get that.
We did that.
Because if you're aware, it won't
the day
run.
we sat in the garage.
Because if you're aware, it won't run.
Oh, yesterday.
Wild.
Yeah, 2 days ago we did it. We actually had an hour.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
If you're aware, it's not going to go.
We let the horses run.
So like I said before, I use the organizational thing as a tool, right? I did that same thing. And I how often do I have conversations like that? Once in a blue moon. I enjoyed it for one reason. I knew I was going to let my mind and say, let me see where my mind goes with this. But at no time did I do this to it.
Right.
Say, this is it. This is what's happening. This is what must be happening. Theory.
Right.
Theory.
And
after we discuss science, everything's a fucking theory,
it's just
right?
fun. Yeah.
And after you discuss theories, we never bonded to any of them.
No, it literally went like this. And look, watch this. And we got the bucket and went like this. I got to go home. All right, I'll talk to you later.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah. Man. Don't carry that luggage. Put it down and walk away.
I didn't go inside. I didn't pack my bags or take my family to somewhere else.
No, but you know what? Now I have all five. We're all five. We're at home for Christmas. You know, the boys are home from college. Everybody's home. And everybody's talking about the drone thing. And when you're in a pack, you can tend to get caught in.
It's a pack mentality, sure.
So when I saw that things were theory, and then they looked to me and like, you're not worried? Like, it's not that I'm not worried. Like, obviously there's a concern there, but I got to show real estate tomorrow. You got to study for a final. You got, you're making cookies and you got class tomorrow. I brought life back on them. It's almost like your attention needs to be diverted to where it's got to go, not
to a fictitious story.
Yeah, you're not going to make the change. If it's a worry, it's going to be a worry for all of us. Okay, so it's not like just the Henry household will be worried. Everyone's going to be worried if this is a problem.
Believe it or not, you can work yourself up to the point that now it's going to affect your life.
Sure.
It's going to affect your sleep, your life, your death, your job. I'm thinking about this. No. I refuse. Like, I think you said it once. I don't give up my peace of mind for anybody.
No. It's your personal choice to do that. So I mean, and that's why talking about bringing the drones in was a, you know, I'm not big on the politics, especially on the show, because that's not what the show's about at all. But it was good to bring that in because it shows people how mass hysteria could take away precious moments from what you get to experience in life. I mean, we don't know what the future holds, but if we try to plan too far, if we keep trying to live life for planning, guess what? You're never doing. You're never living life. So if I'm going to worry about if there's a meteor coming in 20 years, right? Apophis, something like that. There's a meteor. I forgot the name of it. It's going to come close to Earth this year, and if it's in a certain window, in 10 years, it's going to be a direct hit. And it's like a 1 in 10 million chance that that's actually going to happen. But in the next year or so, we're going to, like, what benefit do I have for that? There is no benefit for that. There's no benefit for my life right now. When my eyes close and goes dark and whatever's on, whatever morphous, what was the word? How you morph into something else, right. Or I'm going to reincarnate or whatever happens, or if it's like before. Did you see the meme I sent you today on Instagram?
No.
From Neil deGrasse Tyson?
No.
That he said, he's like talking about like after death, when death happens. He goes, there's a scientific theory that it's just non-existence anymore. That's like the theory. And he goes, do you remember anything before you were born? And I said, I remember somebody who said that. I was like, do you remember anything before you were born? No, you came into existence. Now memory started. You go, and maybe you're not meant to understand what was there before or after, but what point does it benefit your experience on life now to get caught up and choose to follow those, not have those thoughts that are going to be like a dog that wants to run. Let the dog run. You could stay here and the dog is going to come back on its own. Leave the dog alone. You get to stay where you are and you don't have to chase that story. So picture your mind has 100 dogs and they're all running. You're going to chase every fucking dog in your head?
Right.
Exhausting. Yeah, I won't chase any of them. Now, there could be a little bit of anxious feeling that the body brings up. Okay. Sit with that. Allow it to be there and refocus where you want your attention to be. If you do that, I promise everybody who does this in time with practice and continually making yourself sit with that uncomfortable feeling, eventually you stop paying attention to the uncomfortable feeling and you start re-engaging in life quicker and quicker. Not that you completely negate them, but all of a sudden
less significant.
They become
Is that a better word?
A minor nuisance at times.
They atrophy.
Yes.
Oh,
they atrophy. I like that. They shrivel up and die.
Guy coming up with a better English word. Look at you.
It's like Eckhart Tolle says, the ego burns itself and dies. Yeah. If you allow the ego if you stop feeding the ego, it will eventually burn itself and die. There will be times where it wants to reignite and come back, and you get the choice to starve it out again if you want. And it's that simple, but that choice, that uncomfortable feeling you have to go through for a little bit, or maybe sit with, not go through, but sit with.
About ego, that's right?
Ego. EGO. I don't know if you know how to spell that.
Wow.
And not the guy from
I think I stayed in Manhattan. I stayed in Manhattan College all 4 years.
I had to leave. As my kids say, you got thrown out. I didn't get thrown out. I left.
So I wrote a book in the line that I thought you might like about ego. It says, I've been put in check by my bosses, my colleagues, and my subordinates. Each one has helped me become a better person and a better leader. Those that refuse to accept recommendations or even acknowledge that someone else has a different opinion needs to really put their ego in check. Yeah. Our egos will prevent us from becoming better leaders and better human beings.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
Is that good enough to add? Was that accurate?
A true leader, honestly doesn't have an ego because ego's technically thinking mind, but a true leader does not lead with his ego.
You can't lead with your ego has to be in check. Yeah. I just thought that was a good. I heard somebody write something about ego, and you sprang to mind, and then I jotted it down.
Yeah, no. If the ego, I don't think the ego is necessary at all to succeed in life. Me personally, I don't think it's people think they need that mentality because it's what they feed off of. It's their
ego is going past John believes in himself. Ego is going past that. Like John thinks he's the best at everything. That's it's going past it.
Or the worst at everything.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It works the same way. I don't believe in anything. No, that's not true.
Ego prevents you from becoming a better person. If you can't see that other people have different opinions and they might be better than yours, you have a problem. Yes. You have a big problem.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
That is a great topic. We should write.
Tune in next week.
I would love to talk about that.
Talk about ego.
Give me a couple more paragraphs in my book, please.
Okay. We're good.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, thank you again for listening. Hope you got something enjoyable out of today's show. I know I do. I always have some laughs with these two Mama Lukes.
Knuckleheads.
Mama
I was gonna
Luke.
try to cut you off before you said something bad.
But
Jooches.
Chooches. If you're not from Brooklyn, you won't
Yeah,
get
you
that
don't
word.
get the chooch.
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 Big chooch.
Big Jooch. Chooch or Jooch?
Chooch.
Jooch.
Yeah.
Chooch.
Chooch.
Jooch. Yeah, Jooch. All right, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Thanks for coming.
Peace and love. Peace.
Have a happy
and love.
holiday.
Yeah, man.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas,
Yeah,
happy
man,
holidays,
Merry
happy
Christmas,
Hanukkah, happy everything.
Kwanzaa, happy.
I thought holidays encompasses everything, but I like
Does
to
it?
throw a Merry Christmas in there too. Just
Merry Christmas.
and happy
happy
holidays.
holidays.
There you go. We got everybody.
Ho, ho, ho.
Where?
Bye.
You're supposed to say it faster.
The insights and discussions that we speak about on our show are our own opinions and based on our life experiences. If you or someone in your family or someone you know is suffering and in need of help, please get them that help through medical attention or seeking proper therapy. Again, what we speak about are based on our experiences and not intended to be taken as a form of therapy. Thank you.